Let's go, man. I wanted to bring up the topic now. Traditional jazz versus modern jazz. You've touched on that a bit here. For example, the references I've seen, you're always referencing the past, like, right? A lot of blues forms, major blues, minor blues, those variations there, the blues with turnaround and everything. And you, man, you don't necessarily try to package it with a modern sound.
Yes.
Even though I don't have that ability at this moment in my life, my question is, do you do this because you don't have much interest in modern jazz? Your interest really lies in those older things. Do you see yourself playing that? This is Daniel, right?
I move, and I recommend that people move through their passions. In other words, it's all good. There has been a legitimate history of the evolution of jazz. Jazz or anything evolves. The little straw for drinking soda has evolved. It has evolved, right? But I wonder, do I have to embrace that entire journey to graduate as a human being capable of dealing with music? Right. Because I have the impression that sometimes education shortens this in the girl's mind. No, you will be not ready. No one is ready, but you will be almost complete to perform. When you're the guy playing in a big band, playing like Keith Jarrett, just like Jack. Not even they embraced all of that, right? Each one of them. So it's a beautiful journey, a lovely one in the world. I admire it, but my enthusiasm is more for that swing, that groove, and so on. Not that others don't enchant me, but obviously there's this greater interest and a greater disinterest in the contemporary. If I look back to my teenage years, I can find it. And sometimes it could be that I had less interest in the contemporary because I was scared of it. Because in my teenage years, it was very common. So if I liked AC/DC, Santana, then there was Loreval, I don't know, the guy from Moro, who was the Ibanez guy. I would get here affection first. That scared me and made me lose interest. Got it. So, funny, right, man? You see, I'm opening up. I'm trying to remember if that was a factor that made me like it less. However, there's something that fascinates me about music. Since I was little, I remember hearing the opening of Sitio do Pica-Pau Amarelo. Beep. This thing about commitment to the clave, to the groove, is something that has moved me since I was little. So it's kind of obvious that I was more interested in that. I'll tell you, an album that he brings this legacy of groove, of funk, and it's considered a fusion album, and it's in my heart, Blow by Blow by Jeff Beck. It's not a divider there. Ah, Kaio, that's really awesome. It's awesome. I'm really into Jeff Beck. For me, I'm going over there, the gospel that's over there. It's the same Jeff Beck who played blues in the Yardbirds back then. Now, more. I really don't have much interest.
The guitarists you like are more like Montgomery, Christian, Ken Burrell. You like those guys with the pompadour hairstyle from then on?
It doesn't move me. And when I say this, no one should feel offended by it. Because I sat down to watch, I said, I need to know, I need to see. You see, I'm going to open something, an innocent thing from a child. What do I remember? First, I sat down to see Pat Martino at Ibirapuera Park a few years ago. And I said, how interesting, there's a musical message there that doesn't reach me due to my lack of repertoire. We need to have a repertoire to be moved by something. Look, it reaches me, but it doesn't interest me much. But just seeing the faces of the people sitting there, I saw the kid who was a saxophonist. He was standing here next to me, and he was really getting into it with every chorus from the guys. I said, man, how beautiful. I don't connect with it, but it's legitimate. He connects. I'll tell you something else. Pet, back then, can you imagine? I was a kid. I listened to AC/DC, Judas Priest, or Traja Rigor, which was around 1985, 86. Then I stopped by Martino's house. Vanderlei, my friend from Bauru, who was always a year older than me. When I was discovering Led Zeppelin, he was already in the electric band with Chick Corea. So he would show me. I was scared of that. I didn't understand that stuff. And one day he put it, Pat Martino, I was at the window on Rua de Casa. He put it, look at my head, kid. I said, okay, I kept listening. Okay, when does the guitar come in? It had already entered, but I didn't recognize it. As for the sound of the guitar, I'm not saying this to offend. It's a repertoire.
But he also always used a lot of synthesizer. Did that sound?
It's fantastic, right? Now, for example, there's a guy who moves me, who has an absurd beauty and honesty in the instrument. He does the very contemporary stuff, Julian Lege.
He was my classmate
Really,
in college, yeah.
what a beautiful path, right? Dude,
What a humble guy, man. We really had a teacher who was Mick Goodrich and Mick. He said there were two big stars at that moment, which were Julian Lage and Braz Baker. Braz Baker was the rebellious student, and Julian Lage was the polite student. Polite? Be like Julian Lage.
his speech, right? I saw him at Mic Beato. It's a kind of, you're a Telecaster. Now, I'm moved by hearing him, but I don't have the ambition to embrace what he does. Especially because that's a journey. It's a journey of life, right? It's what he heard. And we also, I shouldn't get frustrated because I won't reach that. That's exactly where I come in with the story. There's no better or worse. I don't think that Julian Lage is better or worse. I'm going to kick the bucket now. That Kerry King from Slayer, because they work with different messages, they require different skills. If you ask Julian Lage to play the solo from Raining Blood, he won't do it. He won't do it, and it's not even for him to want to do that. Funny, right? But then the person hears me say that and says, are you trying to say that I don't know if I can say it, curse word, right? Come on, are you trying to say that it seems like they have nothing to do with each other? When you put one next to the other, there is no better or worse, because when you put them side by side, are you offending someone? It seems like I'm saying that Kerry King isn't better. It's not worse than the fact that I'm putting both of them on the same level of excellence while disregarding all the effort that Julian Lage put into building his harmonic knowledge. No, they're different things, which is more enjoyable. Guava, piraquê, globo biscuit.
Different experiences.
Damn, right. Braz's Pizza, which I love. It seems like they have it here in Rio de Janeiro. It seems like they do. They opened up. I think so. Braz's Pizza or the Little Rolls from those juice places in Rio are different experiences.
The winemaker Yuta, who has played with a lot of Megadeth people, he said that one day they called him to record a punk album and it went like this. Dude, call the kid. He's going to play with some rage, Biscoito. He is angry with his father and mother. I am not at this moment. He declined the thing. He mentioned, I do play, but I won't play with the same heart. With the same vibe, with the same detail.
That's what we have to do. Bring to light understanding. It's for ourselves, because otherwise it turns into a life of suffering. No one embraces everything. You can't be, did you ever want to embrace everything? No.
Were you okay with that?
Yes, I felt embarrassed. With the other, or with others in any way, at all, or whatsoever, because I started to promote self-sabotage by forming groups that I played with until a few years ago, with guys who are really amazing, who play a lot, but that they demanded from me. One thing I wasn't capable of is repertoire. So I said, damn, I put the sound together. Now I'm forcing myself to play things that make me feel bad because I don't have the ability enough, right?
And it's really funny, because if you're not okay with that, you always have to be a great artist, because a great artist has to know what they want.
Yeah, the question is always, that's why I named my talk show, by the way, Purpose, What Do You Want? With that, and any purpose is legitimate and it's a danger. This is what I'm going to talk about now. Because purpose is the reason why you move to do something. So, there is a purpose. I am the president of Russia, and my purpose is to bomb the entire border. It's a purpose, isn't it? It's horrible, but it's a purpose. So this will require knowledge, tools, and that purpose. All right, so I'm definitely going to pick a band that doesn't have a need, Motley Crue. What was the purpose of Motley Crue? Using music to highlight that life of luxury and sensuality in California. Limousines with pools and champagne popping, some hot blondes. That's what Motley Crue is all about. Are they successful doing that? They are successful. Sometimes much more successful than a guy whose desire was to be a contemporary jazz performer. And because of his inability to lead his own life and learn to say no, today he plays with someone he doesn't like. He talks bad about the guy he plays with, but he has a well-founded excuse. I have to pay my bills. Right. So I ask you, just for you, the bill arrives. Bill arrives your house, Matthew.
Every month coming.
Mine too. So, man, that's not an excuse. It's an act of courage. Life must not have been easy. For Keith Jarrett, it must not have been easy for Amaro Freitas, right? He's a pianist. Amaro Freitas isn't just any Brazilian. He plays instrumental music, right? Yeah, he's a guy. I imagine he has I don't know if he's from a privileged background or if he's from a more disadvantaged social condition, but I'm giving this example of him because he's a guy who made a choice. He's paying the price for choosing to play instrumental music. But he's a guy who, if he didn't have this very clear, he would be backing a bunch of people he doesn't like, right? What? To pay the bills for the month. So the purpose is that, right? Dude.
What you said is a very common reality. Yeah. And that resentment too. The guy gets resentful.
Yeah, and he gets angry with those who find fulfillment doing what seems simple to him, but found their fulfillment. Yeah, that's a fact. Chimbinha sat here, and people get angry with Chimbinha. Chimbinha is fulfilled. It's tough. It's not easy. One day I have a video lesson from Keith Jarrett. Look at this crazy thing. It showed up for me 2 hours there. And he's talking, and I caught a little part where he says he was teaching a guy, a pianist, and he asked him, "What do you want? What's your purpose?" With that, and the student said, "My dream is to be you." Right. Like, it's to be you. He said, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to walk around with 2 chiropractors on your tour just to fix your back?" He started talking about the hardships of his life. "Are you really sure you want to be like me? With all my problems too."
And do you play the saxophone a lot?
Oh, what is that?
That fidgeting while playing the sax is absurd. Dude. This guy is, I didn't see. Yeah, man, you dig a little there.
And it's beautiful, like those guys who play other instruments. For sure, he sounds like he plays the piano, right?
And there are the things about playing a bit free. So Joe Cotton, that more spiritual phase he had, right? He plays in that style, you know? But in fact, Keith Jarrett had a stroke, right?
Yeah. He took his hand, right?
Yeah. Good career, right, man? Too sad, right? Fire. He's a brilliant musician, right?
Damn, there.
Beautiful. Too Brazilian, he with
Jack DeJohnette and Hancock on bass, and DeJohnette is a well-known pianist too. Same. Nene, Hermeto's drummer, is also a pianist. Beautiful.
I really like Jack DeJohnette's language, and it's a tough language. Drummers have a hard time understanding. There's album by Reb Hancock. Reb Hancock of Rapenko, which, no, it's with Joe Anderson, where half of the album is just Brazilian music. That half is recorded with Brazilian musicians and half with American musicians. I don't remember. Raining, what's your name? No, I don't remember. Enko here? I don't know.